Welcome back. Today I want us to continue with the story that we had started earlier of Hannah, Peninah, her co-wife, and Elkanah. And we saw Peninah was blessed with her son Samuel. And now we want to see what really or who contributed to Hannah blessing so much so that he could get that son. And because there are two people in Hannah's life. There is Elkanah, her husband, and there's Peninah, her co-wife. And those two people had two different, let's say they contributed differently in Hannah's life and her giving birth to the son that she cried God to give her. And so today I want us to look what was the role of Peninah in Hannah's life. And did she make it better or did she make it worse? And if Peninah was not there, could she desperately have cried to God for a son? And so today, I want us to look, maybe starting from where the story starts. Peninah was the other wife of Elkanah, because the one says that he had two wives. One was called Hannah and the other one was called Peninah. And Peninah had children, but Hannah had none. That was the opening remarks in the word, that it's clear Peninah had children while Hannah had no children. And according to the word, that family, they used to pray God, they used to go together to Shiloh to do sacrifices, and that is where it all started. And at that particular time, we see now where we first hear Peninah speaking to Hannah. The one says that because the Lord had closed her womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. It's not good. Maybe your wife has a baby you don't have, your friend has a good job you don't have, maybe you are sick, the other people are healthy, because Peninah can be somebody, it can be a condition, it can be a pressure that is in your life. Peninah can be anything that is in your life that is pushing you towards the wall. That is what we said. And so now in the case of our story, Hannah, Peninah is the pressure that is being put in Hannah for her maybe even to think on where did they need that son, because sometimes you find, because on the other hand, Elkanah, the husband now, he's too comforting, he's too good, he's too comforting, and with that kind of comfort, you cannot give birth. With that kind of comfort, Hannah will not have, wished to have a son, because he has a husband who loves her, and he's telling her clearly. It now here on verse 7, this went on year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept, and she could not eat. You see, now it means these provokes, these ones, these jumps, Peninah is throwing at Hannah, it is working. She's really swallowing, and it is getting somewhere, because now we can see before maybe they used to go, Peninah will irritate Hannah, but it didn't matter. But it came a point when I think Hannah now started, now maybe God started now disturbing Hannah, maybe you can have a child, stop being too comfortable with nothing, stop being comfortable without having children. You can have a child, you are a mother, because your husband Elkanah, who is comforting you, remember, he has children with Peninah. So Elkanah has no problem, he knows he's good. But for the case of Hannah, and the one says that because God had closed her womb. And so now we can see now this Peninah, this catalyst, now it is trying to push now Hannah. And now I think there's something God now is doing to Hannah. Now she's trying, maybe she's now starting to get it, because you find even in our lives, excuse me, God uses people. God uses people to speak to us. God uses situations to speak to us when He wants to lift us up. Because sometimes you'll find you are in that small business, and that small business it's getting along. You are doing a bit good, but you can do better. And so sometimes what God will do, He'll make sure that business closes down so that you can cry for more, because you can handle more. But because you have that small business, you are just living a simple life, a small life, you are comfortable there, and you cannot grow in comfort. That is one thing you should know. You can never grow in comfort. Hannah will not have prayed for a son in comfort of her husband, because remember, even here and down the word says that Hannah, and now the word says that she wept and would not eat, and would not eat. I think so. Now she's starting to get devastated, and listen to what her husband tells her. Her husband Elkanah would say to her, Hannah, why are you weeping? Why are you weeping? Why don't you eat? Why are you not eating? What is all this, the baby thing? Why are you downhearted? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons? That is too comforting, ladies. That is too comforting. That is too comforting even for you men. You have that very small business. That small, and maybe sometimes that comfort will come from light in your house, because we see the case of Hannah. This is not an outsider. This is a husband who is telling you, Hannah, you don't need a baby. I am here for you. And I am more than 10 sons. I love you, Hannah. I love you. Remember, I usually give even double portions of meat because of how much I love you. But on the other side, it is time for Hannah to do something. It is time, because God knows this Hannah woman is the one who was supposed to give birth to a prophet, and that prophet was that was now to be the prophet now Samuel. And in the comfort of his so-called husband Elkanah, Hannah will not. Yes, Elkanah is so good. That comfort, there was time it was needed. Don't get me wrong. It's like, let's use maybe what? A chick and an egg. That chick, or even a baby, when it is being carried by the mother, there are those times, those 9 months, the baby needs to be there. It needs that comfort. But when that time is over and that baby needs to grow now to another level, that baby cannot stay there. That chick cannot stay in that egg. It has to get out, because if that chick stays in that egg, one more day it will suffocate and it will die. The same thing that was meant to protect it, it will kill it. And so now, Elkanah was so good when they started. Maybe he married them at the same time. Peninah is getting children, Hannah is not getting children, and maybe that time they were so young, Hannah did not understand what was going on, and maybe he comforted and tell her, don't worry, you still have a lot of time, you'll do what, you'll get children. But after time went, and it's like, wow, Peninah starts getting children, I'm not getting. And so something needed to be done, something had to be done, because in that state of Elkanah comforting Hannah and even telling her, don't I mean to you more than 10 sons? It means Hannah would have called back to her comfort zone and say, it's okay, because my husband loves me, because he loves me so much. So why should I need a son? But on the other hand, because God had a plan for Hannah, God had a prophet that needed to be born by Hannah, He brought Peninah along, and Peninah would not spare Hannah. And so she pushed her. Maybe she told her irritating ones. Maybe some are not even written here. Maybe she would tell her, maybe if Hannah tried to send Peninah's children, maybe you tell her, go give birth to your children, leave my children alone. Maybe you tell her, if supposing your husband dies, my husband, Elkanah, you'll be left alone, Hannah, with no children. But all those provokes, they had a meaning. They had to be there for Hannah now to start getting it in her hand. Wow, it's not bad to have a child at all, After all, because the one says, even there before there was a praise, the one was saying that because Elkanah had to sacrifice. When Elkanah sacrificed, he would give portions of the meat to his wife Peninah and all her sons and daughters. And you see, Hannah will not get a portion for sons and daughters because she had none. So that's still that love of her husband. It could only get her too far. Because if there are portions for children, you cannot get a portion no matter how much I love you. Let's believe. If it's something that needs to be given to my children and I don't have one, no matter how much maybe my husband loves me, he cannot give it to me because it is not meant for me. It is for the children. And so if I don't have the child, if I don't have the children, like the case of Hannah, so the only match Elkanah would do maybe was to give her 2 portions. For you, Hannah, and maybe this is for me because I love you so much. But for the children, you don't qualify. And so now that is where now we see now all those maybe when you start thinking, it's true, maybe I need a baby. Maybe Peninah is right. And so, and now the same time now God is working because now the time for prophet Samuel was crossing by. Because at this particular time, this story before it starts, there's a story of Eli and his sons who had misbehaved, and so God wanted to get them out of the way, and he wanted Samuel to be the prophet. And so all those things, they are working according to the time of God, God's time. And so that is now when you see now these provokes now they are working. And that is why you find sometimes even in our lives, you are going through something and just you are sick, you don't like, okay, I'm not feeling very good, and you can get better, and you are doing nothing about it. Your business is failing, and you are just getting along, and you can do better. You are driving a car that is breaking every other second, and you are okay, furthermore, it's taking me where? No, it is not taking where you are supposed to go. You are supposed to have a good car, you are supposed to have a good business, you are supposed to have a good family, and you are supposed to fight for it, like we saw for Hannah. When the time now came, I think now when everything started aligning, even in the spirit, now this thing for the child, it's like I was saying, maybe all of a sudden you never liked something there, all of a sudden, wow, I like this thing, I want a good car, I want a big business, I was just selling some small vegetables and I want to open a wholesale, certain things. When God pushes you, when your condition pushes you, when your situation becomes your Hannah in life, you have to embrace it and you have to run with it, because you find that time when there's time frame, because somewhere had to be born within a particular time. And that's now we see now everything now is working very fast. All of a sudden, Hannah now started crying. We can see now there's even place in the one that says that in her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly, and she made a vow, saying, Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son. Now see now where all these provokes are taking Hannah. Now she doesn't care about her husband anymore. But now what is working now? It's these ones that her co-wife is throwing at her. Now what is working is the pressure of the problem that you have. Now what that is working is the pressure of the family matters that are pressing you, the disease that is pressing you, the drugs that are on your children. They are the ones now that are making you to go to push and cry to God, because there is a better way. There is something good for them. There is a better life than the one you are living. There are better things God has put for you, but you have to cry for them. You have to get angry enough with your situation. And you can see now Hannah have said enough is enough, but it's only working because there's somebody who is pushing her, and that person is the Peninah. And so don't even try to pray your Peninah out of your life. She's more important than you think. When the story opens, everybody sees Peninah as a bad person. But I can tell you, if you don't have a Peninah, ask God to give you a Peninah in your life, because you need one. Because if you only have Elkanah, guys, you will not amount to what God has called you to do. But if you have a Peninah who can see beyond what Elkanah can see, a Peninah who can see, maybe I love you, but You need your child. Stop sending my children out. Get your own. A person who will tell you what it is. A condition that will push you with no mercy. A situation that will make you to jump up, will make you even to have sleepless nights or even to fast, crying to God because you know there is something better than what you are doing. There's something better than what you are going through. There is a healing that is there. But if you are comfortable in pain, if you are comfortable in that disease, if you are comfortable in lack, you will never get beyond it. It will only get out of it when you get angry enough of it. And you say, what? I am not going to stay in this pain again. You have to get out of my life. I am not going to stay in this lack again. No. If He died for me to live a life of abundance, that is what I'm fighting for. And we see Hannah crying bitterly to God. And I love this because you know now it is she's taking it personal. It is not about Elkanah anymore. It is not now. God is dealing with her. You know, God is dealing now with Hannah. Now she's alone with her. Now the only ones I think now that's ringing in her mind now, it is the Peninah, the provokes, you know, and you can see that Hannah and Peninah having to get that she got children with much easier. It doesn't make her better than Hannah who could not get children with much easier. Maybe because God wanted by the end of the day, because by the end of every situation, you know, God has to get the glory. And so Hannah will stand and say, this baby, this was not just Elkanah. This baby God gave me, because even the last time where Hannah gives birth to Samuel, he said that she named him Samuel, saying, because I asked the Lord for him. It didn't just come that easily. It was a war. It was a fight. It was a determination. It was never, I would never say die. It was time for her also to get her child. And so we can see that pressure that was put by Peninah. We can see that pressure, you know, that I think she never gave her peace. And now Hannah has taken it. She has taken the challenge. Yes, I want the baby. And that baby, because my womb is closed, I know it will not just be like another baby. This is a war. And Hannah declared war. Hannah declared to cry to God. And we can see God answered her prayer. But it all came as a thing because somebody pushed her. And so when we look at Peninah represents the provocations and the trials that we go through in our lives. As I said earlier, do not pray your Peninah out of your life. Use it to propel you, because what the Peninah does, maybe it's a situation or it's something that was there in your life. Maybe it's like you just wakes up and you find yourself, you find everybody else has moved. You know, people are doing great things and you are here behind, and you've been comfortable with that, just thing like that. Nothing much. Small life, small people, small clothes, small food. Living a very small life. And you know that small life does not glorify God. And so today, I want to call upon you. If you've been there and you think the person who is telling you this is not right, you can do better. Because some people will face you and tell you, do you know, and you can do a big business than what you're doing. Do you know you are good in business, but just you are wasting time here in this kiosk? And sometimes people get angry. And one thing we love, even that provokes sometimes, they bring out the character. And one thing, don't get bitter at your pressure. Don't get bitter at your situation, because when Hannah could have reacted different way. When her rival Peninah started, you know, provoking her in order to irritate her, Hannah did not respond to Peninah, because she knew, yes, Peninah is telling me I don't have children, but Peninah has no power to give me children. So don't waste your pain. Don't waste your pain. Don't waste your energy with your Peninah. Your Peninah is only provoking so that you can go in the right direction to the person whom you know has your solution. And that person and that is none other than God. So when Hannah was provoked, she cried to God. She didn't even go to tell her husband that, hey, your wife, the other wife. No. She went to the one who had her solution, and that was God. So when Peninah pushes you, do not talk back to Peninah. Go straight to God. Cry to God. Is that sickness? God, take this. I'm tired. I'm tired of this pain. I'm tired of this lack. I'm tired of my children getting lost. I'm tired of people talking about my marriage. I'm always in and out. I'm tired of people pointing at that family, that is the family with the broken children. I want my family back, and I want it now. Cry to God. Don't go pointing fingers at those who are pointing something or a weakness in you. You should stand up to the occasion. Hannah did something of very importance. She took her pain to God. She took and it humbled her. I think maybe that provokes, because sometimes when you come back to your senses and you see for real, I think it's very true. Sometimes you'll not accept like life, I agree. But deep down in you, you know this thing, it is pushing me to be in a deeper desperation. And you see that deep desperation, it will lead you to deep prayers. It will lead you maybe to deep fasting. It will lead you to deep relationship with God, because He is the one who has the solution for your answers. And today I want to ask you, and I want you to look aloud in your life for the Peninah, and look out for the provokes. Look out for whatever is being pointed out in your life. And I'm telling you, if you only have Elkanah in your life, ask God for a Peninah, because you need one. Because you can be more than what you are now. You are made of more. You can do big things. But if you decide to stay comfortable in the comfort of Elkanah, you'll miss it all. Because if Peninah was not there for Hannah, the purpose of God in Hannah's life maybe wouldn't have been fulfilled. And that is why God, it was not a mistake that Elkanah had a co-wife, and Elkanah had two wives, and one wife was getting children and the other was not getting. It was not a mistake. Peninah had work that she needed to do. Elkanah had work too, but the work of Peninah, by the end of the story, the pushing and the provocations of Peninah, they are the one that wins. They are the one that stands out. And so today, stop hating your Peninah. Stop hating your pressure. Stop hating or giving a bright eye to your Peninah, to that situation. Look at it and say, enough is enough. I'm not going to live in this very tiny house while there are big houses. God, I want a house. I want a big house. I want a good health. I want a good family. I want a good business. Cry, because they are there and they are for you. Hannah cried to God, and God gave him a son. And even much later, because of Hannah's obedience, because of the things she gave to God, of the way, he gave Samuel back to God, just as he had promised. God gave him more children later. And so because of the act of now, Peninah pushes her, she goes to God in tears, she cries, and all those provocations, they work. She gets, those lindy from her co-wife. And now we see now the life now is turned upside down. Everything now is working. Now the mockery for Peninah now, it's over, because now even if Hannah never gave birth to other children, that the fact that he gave birth to Samuel, now Peninah cannot call her a barren woman. She cannot provoke her because as a child. And today I want to tell you that situation. Maybe when you praise God and you are healed, the sickness cannot tell, hey, now you are healed. Now you are a different person. The name that they had called you, the mother of the drunkard children, the mother of the foreign family, the name changes immediately when God changes your story. And what happens? Your Peninah is shut by God himself, not you. You cannot shut Peninah. Peninah will only be shut up when the purpose of God in your life is fulfilled. It is not your work to shut up Peninah, because as long as there is something, as long as something is not working, Peninah will keep pointing out, and that is her work, to pinpoint your weakness, to pinpoint when you are comfort, when you are in comfort, and you know you can do better, you can do more. So embrace Peninah. I did not talk back to Peninah. Whatever you are shown that is in your life, take it to God. He is the one who has closed the doors, and He will open every door that is closed. He will open that business. He will restore those children. He will restore that marriage. He will restore that health. But only if you refuse to listen to your Erikana, if you refuse to stay in that comfort of pain, and that comfort of lack, in that comfort of small life. So choose, make a decision, and make a wise decision to listen to your provokes. Listen to that person who is telling you, you can do better. This is not good. Correct this. And when you do that, and when you listen to that, and you take that to God, because the person himself, he might point it out, but he doesn't have the power to correct it. Hannah's womb was closed. It was not closed by Peninah. It was closed by God himself. And so her Peninah now is making Hannah to go back to the one who closed the womb for her, and open it for her, and cry. And we know, we can see now in the story of Hannah, it worked. Hannah cried to God. God opened her womb. She gave birth to a son, and other children later. And so today, wake up and bless for Peninah. Thanks so much for watching, and God bless you. And remember to subscribe.